What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another sermon meditation. I hope you are well. I hope your family is well. I am very excited about the sermon today. It is from Pastor Sarah Jake Roberts, and the title is Make a Move. And for me, before I even listen to the sermons, I usually like to just meditate on what the topic is, what the title is, and see what comes into my heart before I even listen to the sermon. And I feel like when you hear "make a move," I want you to kind of, in your mind, what's happening in your mind, what's your spirit saying? Because in this sermon, she really dived into that backing of a move, what backs you when you decide to make a move. And it really edified me because she also dived into the importance of our faith and understanding the power we have because of faith. So I would really implore you to listen to this full sermon, but I'm not going to speak too much. So without further ado, let's dive into the sermon.
Uh-oh. 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 Okay. Okay. Listen. You may be wondering what's happening in this room. When principalities and powers start coming under the authority of what God wants to do in the earth, our spirit starts rejoicing in ways we can't even fully understand, because the path is clear. I hear this prophetically. What was standing in your way from making a move, I hear God saying that the path is clear. I hear God saying that no weapon formed against you will prosper. And you about to make a move because the coast is clear. You about to make a move because no devil in hell can stand in your way any longer. I hear God saying, I was waiting on you to get faith. Because if you get faith, you can say to this mountain, move. Mountain, get out of my way. Mountain of depression, get out of my way. Mountain of shame, get out of my way. Mountain of ego, get out of my way. Mountain of addiction, get out of my way. Okay. All right. I've been trying to figure out, of all the people for God to make the father of many nations, of all the people for God to make the father of our faith, what is it that Abram had? And God showed me, particularly in this text that I chose, is that all Abram had was a willingness to make a move, even risking making the wrong move. Because if we're honest, some of us won't make a move because we feel like if I make a move, I've got to do it perfectly. And because I've never seen it done before, I would rather not do it at all than to make a move and get it wrong. But if you make only the right moves, when you arrive to the destination, you will say that it was your work that got you there. But the covenant is not about work. The covenant is about faith. He wants the ending testimony to be this, that it wasn't your work that made the difference. It was your faith that made the difference. So Abram goes to Egypt and he lies to Pharaoh. This is not a perfect man who did everything well. This was a man who was willing to learn along the way. This is a man who was willing to make a move and have that move corrected, guided, to go back to the drawing board and to try again. Because faith is not about perfection. Faith is about movement. And I don't know who you are in this room, but I need you to understand that I believe our intentional God chose Abram with great intentionality. So that if you ever just really got into this word, you would see that his journey was not perfect, that he didn't do everything well, but his imperfections did not change God's promise. And when he messed up, he learned and he tried again. And God created a nation out of Abram. And when he created this nation out of Abram, he says, I'm going to have a blessing for all of your descendants. And if you don't know that being a descendant of Abram is not biological, I'm getting ready to close. To be a descendant of Abram is by faith. Galatians 3 says it better than I can. Galatians 3 says this about us being descendants of Abram. It says, this is how we know we are children of God. Therefore know that only those who are of faith are sons of Abraham. Hold on, let's not skip past that. That it wasn't about biology, it wasn't about DNA. It wasn't about you being born into his family. It was about you having the faith of Abraham. Those who are of faith are sons of Abraham. And then it continues, it says, and the scripture foreseeing that God would justify the Gentiles by faith. Hold on. Because God says about Abram's family who would become the Hebrew children and go on to become Israel, he says to them that you will be my chosen people, a holy nation. And if we aren't careful, if we just stay in the Old Testament, we will think that it is just the children of Israel who God has selected as his holy nation. But Jesus left the gate open. Jesus said what would have just been reserved for the children of Abraham biologically, now you can be grafted in if you have faith. And if you have faith like Abraham's faith, all of those things that I said about Abram can apply to your life too. That means I will bless those who bless you. I will curse those who curse you. All you got to do is make a move. I'll take care of the rest. So this is my word to you. Don't let disappointment, don't let fear, not even your own mistakes, keep you from moving in faith. That you have to be willing to posture your heart to hear a word from God. And some of us want the big words about what our purpose is going to be. That part, I'll make your name great. That word great really, it means honorable. Oh. I'll give you an honorable name. We hear name great and we're like, oh, I'm going to be famous. In your family. For your integrity. What does it matter to be famous in the world if you're not known for your honor and integrity in your house? I want my name to be great so that when my great-great-great-great-great-grandchildren hear about Sarah, that they hear about a woman of God and a woman who had faith. Y'all gonna forget about me. It's gonna be somebody else and y'all gonna be hooting and hollering when they up preaching. But if I do this right, my name will be great for my babies. If I do this right, my name will have honor and integrity. I will make your name great. And you know why that? He's lying in Genesis 12. He said, I'm going to make your name great when it's all said and done. They'll think more about how you were willing to sacrifice your son than the moment you were willing to trade your wife. I'll make your name great. Where your mistakes don't define you. I'll make your name great. Where your missteps aren't the only thing people know about you. I'll make your name great. Where even if no one else in your family had a good name, I'll set you apart. I'll make your name great. He says, I'll bless you. I will bless you. I will look at you and I'll see the God in you. I will bless you and I will make you a blessing. Because it's one thing to be blessed. It's another thing to be a blessing. And you don't have to work for this. You don't have to hustle for this. You don't even have to do everything perfectly for this. Because you have been justified by faith. If you can get the faith part worked out, God says, I can do everything else. So what does it look like for you at this time in your life to have faith that has been activated? What does it look like for you in this season of your life to have faith that allows you to make some moves that get you out of your comfort zone, that get you out of your way of thinking, that makes you bold enough to create the business plan? What does it look like for you? I don't know what it looks like for you. But I do know that it is going to require you to have the power to believe. And that's what faith is.
Woo! That was an amazing sermon and excerpt and everything that happened. I was really, oh my God, there are so much things that my mind and my spirit feels right now. Make a move. You know, a lot of times in my mind I was thinking about like just the parts we forget, that we want to make a move, but the faith and the power we really have when we want to make that move, we shouldn't let anything disrupt that. Because that faith and power, understanding that's God's faith and power, that's Jesus' faith and power. Even if you fail, He will use it for something else. That's all that kept on going on in my heart. Even if you succeed, there's something else. There's always something else with God. And that's why it's so important for us to get active or continue in everything we're doing and making a move or making moves in our lives. I'm a person that has experienced life where things have happened where you feel so like encapsulated that you don't know what the next thing to do. You feel so uncertain that you don't know what the next thing to do. In my testimony right now is, I've always just said, do one thing. Because what I learned when I learned that was one thing, God can do something in that thing. Faith is the things unseen. So sometimes you have to take a risk. Not sometimes, usually you have to take a risk in this life. I'm a big believer in none of us deserves the grace of God, even His mercy. But it is ours because we are His. But the beauty in our lives is if we do things by faith, with the grace and the mercy, that's a combination. And putting it together to then be like, you know how powerful you are? God just wants to partner with us. And that's one thing I really got from this message, that the move you make is the partnership you have with God. So make a partnership. Make a move. Make sure that you include Him, number one. But also know that as you're doing the thing, make sure you're doing it through faith. Because a lot of this is, the move is something that may not make sense to you in the moment. or may feel like impossible. But if you decide to do it, God can do something. Just a couple things she said. Make something happen. Because through faith, God will make something happen. It's not us doing it. It's us giving something God to work with in our experience to show us His power and His glory, even in our failures, even in our successes. As I said in the beginning, I would implore you to listen to the full sermon. It's something that makes you really, center yourself in whatever you're doing, and make sure that you're doing it through faith. That's the biggest thing. That you're using that power invested in you, and you're not capitulating to anything that's telling you that if you go in faith, even if you don't see it, that God can't do it. That's the enemy. So make a move for sure. So, as I say before I end every sermon, every meditation, until next time, everybody, I'll see you soon.